So I hope you are able to see the screen. So today, what we are going to discuss is applications of data science. We'll go through a small presentation to take you through different applications of data science. Now, when I say data science, it implies AI, machine learning, all combined together. They're all have the same name. So if I ask, like, data analysis has been there for quite a long time. So it's not like a new thing that data analysis has just started, machine learning has just started, AI has just started, and so on. AI was there for a very, very long time. If you ask, like, when was AI first coined, it was way back in 1950s, right? Since then, we have AI. So since then, we have AI. But now things have changed a little bit. The reason why we are concentrating about AI right now is the democratization of AI has been increased, right? That what I mean by democratization means each and every one of us are now working with AI at a very close quarter. Imagine I want to just ask some query, I want to do some simple code, or I want to, uh, do a language translation, or I want to draft an email. For all these things, now we are getting onto ChatGPT. And that has actually uh, changed the way in which the AI is being utilized. Now, when the AI utilization has increased, that has given a great edge for people, right? So people who are using AI and also people who are creating those AI. And now we are spending, we will spend around 45 minutes, 50 minutes today. Uh, we are trying to understand that what are the areas which this AI is touching, what are the areas it is impacting, and then what is the depth of the impact. And we will try to understand, like, what different applications are being built with AI. So as I said, the AI is there, data analysis is there for quite a long time. What actually changed is the adoption of data. The three things actually changed. The first one is the adoption of data. Large volume of data was available. Second one is increment in the compute capabilities. The large volume compute capabilities are available. And the third one is availability of algorithms, right? The three things which actually increase the adoption of AI in these days is because of all these three things. So this particular diagram talks about AI winters. Now, what is an AI winter? That means that prior to the winter, there is a hype cycle. People thought that AI going to rule the world, everybody will lose the job, and AI is going to change completely and things like that. But after few months and few years, it went into something called as AI winter, where people, whatever the thoughts they had, whatever the ideas they had, whatever the dreams they had, those all were crashed because AI did not perform to the expectations. So in the past, there were two AI winters. One was around 1975s, and the other one was around 1990s, mid 1990s, and 2000s, and so on. Both the AI winters were caused because of there was unavailability of data. First one was there was unavailability of data, and the second one was the unavailability of compute. Both actually had very strong impact on the way the AI was persumed, and also the AI, when it did not perform, these AI winters got created. Now we are in this age around 2025 right now, that we are trying to have the same hype cycle, right? We are in the same hype cycle. We are trying to determine whether this is going to be another bubble, it is going to burst, or things like that. But what we can say is that the AI is basically is basically here to stay. The three possible reasons what I was talking about is, the first possible reason is that we have large volume of storage which is available right now. Then the second one is the large compute capabilities we have. And the third one is the availability of algorithms, right? So when we are seeing that all these three are combined together, we are having a great opportunity ahead of us. And this great opportunity is going to sustain for quite a long time. Now, will people say that this is going to be super pervasive? It's not going to happen. We are going to see that the lot many applications will be reimagined. We will try to see that lot many applications which used to be used in a older fashion will be reimagined, and we will have a newer way of doing those things. But it is not like a completely game changer kind of a situation. Now, it is very important as developers, as we are in this era of IT and so on. It is very important for us to embrace this AI. Many people ask this question that Sitaram, like this AI is going to change the world. Will I lose my job? It is not going to we are not going to lose our job, because we are going to embrace AI. We are going to ensure that we use AI for our advantage. So that is the state we all should be there, so that it will benefit not only us, it will also benefit us for creating better products. So the data is the one which is crucial thing. Initially, I was saying that the availability of data actually changed the way in which a lot of this processing happened. The data has increased over time. Currently, a lot of data is being generated every second. While this recording is happening, this recording itself will generate like close to 100 megabytes of data, right? So that itself is a great deal for analysis. Apart from the data, if you talk about other types of data which is used for regular business purpose, is what we call as transactional data. Transactional data is where we are trying to do regular transactions. Imagine you take a bank, right? The regular transactions for a bank is like you deposit money, you withdraw money, and you open a fixed deposit and so on. So those all are the transactions of a bank. If you take a retail company, a person goes to a retail shop, they will purchase some products, and they will purchase some products and buy some milk, buy some bread and some other groceries. Those all become the retail transactions. Similarly, if you take any industry, like you take media industry, you take travel industry, you take e-commerce industry, all those industries have similar kind of transactions, and all those transactions go and sit into something called as relational database systems. And the traditional analysis will be mostly on the structured data. We try to analyze the structured data, try to find out patterns of the structured data, and based on the patterns, we can do a lot of things like cross-sell, upsell. We can predict the sales of the particular shop. We can also try to identify the revenue predictions, the amount of transactions which are happening, the volume, and all that stuff. Now, apart from the regular traditional data, regular transactional data, we also have other types of unstructured data. One of the one is the audio data. Recent years, what we are seeing is there is a lot of adoption of unstructured data. The data can be in the form of audio, video, text, documents, any kind of information from sensors and so on. All those data is now getting captured, and we are storing it in a central data lake situations. Now, what is this audio data? Audio data will be from different sources. We can use this audio data for doing transactions. For example, we can use this audio data for processing your speech samples, converting from speech to text. For example, if you take Amazon Alexa, you can talk to Alexa as if like you're talking to some person. So you can say like, hey Alexa, what is the weather today? Then what Alexa will do is take the audio sample, convert the audio sample into text, and then it can perform further actions on that. So all that information is being used for AI nowadays, and we can use that for creating much more intelligent systems. Next one is the experimental data. Experimental data, it is similar to like, you're doing space research, or you are doing oceanic research, you are doing earthquake seismic research, or any other kind of research with respect to creation of vaccinations, drugs, and healthcare. All that information, we conduct something called as experiments. Experiments are like, phases in which we do a lot of testing. And a lot of this experiment data is used for creation of, life-saving drugs, or also analyzing climatic changes and so on. So all that information uses AI. Another interesting use cases which have been very, very popular these years is video and image data. Image data, you might be very much familiar, like recent months, we are also seeing that you can also ask ChatGPT to generate intuitive images which were never seen. For example, you want to generate an image of a person walking on moon, then the image will be generated within no time. And there are likes of such kind of image generation models. We are called as stable diffusion models, and they will be able to generate similar kind of applications where we can use this image data for a lot of processing. Similarly, video data, you might have already heard about something called as OpenAI Sora model. Imagine you give a script, and that script can be converted into video, and that video can be used. Not only video, you can also generate audio along with the video, right? So it's a complete picture which is getting generated, and a state of the art work is going to happen. Now, this is going to have a little impact on the media industry, where the creative industry, where they are trying to spend a lot of money on creating some kind of visual effects and so on. So that will cut down. But certainly people who have the skill can complement that with the AI, and then can create better visuals, right? So that is what is going to happen in the future. Other data types, for example, we have the graphs, charts, and stats, and so on. So all these other data types are very prominent. We can use these other data types for creating more meaningful descriptions of the data. We can get a lot of insights from this data. So those charts and graphs will try to tell some story. It will try to tell some. It will try to depict some patterns. Those patterns, by analyzing the patterns, we can get much more meaningful information. Well, let us do a little detour. We were understanding about artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning in the previous session. So if I talk about artificial intelligence is nothing but it is like an umbrella term. It is like an umbrella where we are trying to use AI we are trying to use computers to make to take the work of humans, and then to basically mimic human capabilities, right? That's what the AI is trying to do. Imagine there are some rule-based engines. Imagine there are some kind of conditional-based things where we want to transform what the work of humans. Then we can use AI for doing that. So initial artificial intelligence applications were ideally created so that we can remove all monotonous tasks of humans, and that can be done by computers. That was the initial purpose of AI. But later, there was a substream of AI which was created, which is called as machine learning. Now, what machine learning does is, where AI is basically a rule-based engine, right? So there are like strict if-then-else rules. They have some conditional rules and so on. Now, when the large volume of data comes into picture, it becomes very difficult to create those rules. Now, if I have few couple of observations, if I have few couple of patterns, then creating the rules will be easy. But if the data volumes increase, if the amount of data is quite high, then creation of the rules becomes very tough. So you could basically can't create those rules, and that's when you will use statistical techniques. So machine learning is nothing but it is a subset of AI which uses statistical techniques for machines to create these rules. So for machines to create these patterns by its own, rather than humans creating the patterns, rather than humans giving the rules, it will be the machines which will be creating the rules, and it will be creating that patterns so that machines, the machines can change the way in which the applications are created. So machine learning is a subset of AI. Then comes the deep learning, which is subset of machine learning. So it is a further subset of AI. And then deep learning is where instead of machine learning, typically machine learning is used for structured data. And when it comes for unstructured data, like images, videos, text data, and so on, that can be done by deep learning. The generative AI, which is a further subset of deep learning. Okay, generative AI is one of the deep learning technique. Generative AI uses something called as neural network. It is a further subset of deep learning. And then we have agentic AI, which is a subset of generative AI. Okay, so we have artificial intelligence, under which we have machine learning, under which we have deep learning, under which we have generative AI. Under that, we have agentic AI. So we are going to learn all those things during this course. So we have a lot of these misconceptions about AI. We have a lot of these misconceptions about classical machine learning, what we call. And many people say that, okay, I want to learn generative AI. I do not want to learn data science, machine learning, and all this stuff. The reason is because they are not really aware about what is the one which is driving business. And if you ask me, 80% of the business currently in my company also, they are using classical machine learning algorithms for real generation of revenue, right? So when do people give money? When do the businesses generate money? When they can really generate some ROI, right? So you invest something on technology, and that technology has to return some ROI. Currently there's a lot of hype around generative AI, agentic AI, and so on. Not many companies are spending huge volumes of money, but the only companies which will reap benefits is the ones which can generate a specific ROI, which can reap benefits out of it. Okay. Any questions so far? I hope it's clear. Any questions around AI, machine learning, generative AI, deep learning, things like that? Clear, right? You can use the chat window to put, if you are good, you can just put I'm good or understood or something like that. I hope it is a yes. All right, so let us continue. So after artificial intelligence, let us get into some of the application areas. So I'll spend few minutes, 15, 20 minutes on these application areas. The first and foremost application areas are the social media analytics companies. So these companies are the ones which are completely changing the way in which the technology is being evolving. So we have seen that over the years, these are the companies which are revolutionizing the way in which the technology is getting created. So if you see, even the generative AI these days are being created by these big players like OpenAI, Microsoft. We have Anthropic, we have Google. So all these guys are creating these large volume, large language processing systems, and those are being open source now, and the open source models are being used for creating better applications. Apart from the social media companies, we have typical brick and mortar companies like banks, insurances, retail companies, and so on. All those companies are using AI for doing something called as predictive analytics. So predictive analytics means we are trying to do some predictions which did not happen yet. We are going to do predictions which are going to happen in the future. So how do we do predictive analytics? We do a lot of data transformation. We do a lot of data training. So you find out the patterns of past data, and then based on the past data, you're going to predict what is going to happen in the future. That is about predictive analytics. Apart from predictive analytics, we also have fraud and intruder detection models. Like fraud and intruder detections are typically identifying models which are anomalies. Means they do not happen like a real transaction, right? If you have 100 transactions, and then if you plot all those 100 transactions in a graph, predominantly all the transactions look alike, right? They have similar kind of patterns, but there will be one or two transactions which will be apart from the crowd, right? So they will be completely different from the crowd. They are called as anomalies. So in fraud also, in intruder detection also, we try to find out anomalies. And then once we identify those anomalies, then we can mark those anomalies and you can use that for, this fraudulent transaction depiction, right? Another interesting use case, very popular one, is sentiment analysis. So predominantly in the reviews of retail transactions and devices and so on, everywhere we have this sentiment analysis done in these days. So previous days we used to have like positive, negative, neutral kind of a sentiment, but now those have been evolved. Instead of just having positive, negative, and neutral, we also can go deeper into entity level sentiment analysis. So thanks to generative AI and other kind of systems where you can given a comment, right? Given a comment about a review comment, we can analyze the review comment to a deeper extent. We can go to individual entities and also can determine which one is good, which one is bad. Imagine I can give a comment and say that analyze from this comment like what went well and what did not went well, right? And then based on that, you could do a lot of similar analysis. Self-driving cars, we are very much familiar. 10 years back, people thought that this is a crazy idea to allow a car drive by its own. But nowadays, we are seeing that this is a reality. The way it was possible is using artificial intelligence. We are able to get lot many sensors. All the sensors feed the information to the model, and those sensors basically provide a lot much insights to the model on the car, and that gives this information. So it's all possible because of the self-driving capabilities of the car. Another interesting use cases. So typically within machine learning, we have two major categories we call classification and clustering. Classification is nothing but you are trying to categorize your output in one or the other classes. Imagine I read an email and I want to determine whether an email is a spam or a non-spam. That falls under classification. I get a loan application, and I have to review the loan application, and I have to determine whether the person would get a loan or not. That becomes a classification use case. Imagine I get bunch of customer spend transactions, and then I want to determine what type of customer group a person belongs. That becomes something called as clustering. So whenever we have these kind of transactions where we want to aggregate your information, where you want to determine which class it belongs to, they are called as classification problems. And whenever we get a group of observations, we're trying to determine spend patterns, or we're trying to determine customer behaviors and so on, they fall under something called as clustering. These are the two major examples. Another interesting one is the recommendation engine. Recommendation engine, we are very, very familiar now. These are like the patterns in which we try to figure out associations between the products. We also call it as association rule mining. That means that a product A is there and the product B is there. People who are purchasing product A also purchase product B. then we can clearly define an association between these two products. And based on these associations, we can do a lot of things. We can recommend products. We can also create like jumbo bundles, like, bundle couple of things together, and then we can sell it as one. We see this in e-commerce companies, like an example, like people who purchase this mobile also purchase this scratch card, also purchase this case, right? So we get these kind of recommendations, and all those things are possible because of recommendation engines. So we also have these examples in transportation industries like Uber and self-driving cars. Like a usage of AI is predominantly used, whether it is in determining where my next rider will be, or to determine the surge pricing, right? Anything which is used in this car sharing industries or the taxi industries is basically predominantly using AI. AI will give a lot of clues, it will give nudges, and then based on those nudges, the drivers will go and drive in a specific locality, and based on that, they will get more rides. Another interesting use case is human emotion analysis. Human emotion analysis is nothing but where we are trying to determine, imagine human facial recognition is there. And then based on the human facial recognition, we are trying to find out emotions. This is currently in the research phase, but eventually we are very confident that in the coming few years, we will have a lot of robots which are doing self-service. And these robots will also have intuition of human emotions, whether the person is angry or sad or unhappy. So they will be able to detect that. And then based on that, either they will do a better service, or they will also escalate the case to a higher authority and so on. So based on that, they will act. This is one other interesting use case. It is called as genomic data analysis. So for example, you want to determine a drug. For example, I want to release a drug like COVID drug or COVID vaccine and so on. It becomes very difficult for the companies to release that because there is a stringent testing cycle. They have to test it on multiple samples, multiple animals, and only then they can release it on humans. And this drug discovery time itself is quite high. And because of use of data analysis, what they are doing is they are reducing the drug discovery time considerably. And COVID vaccine is one such example where use of AI was there, where it has reduced the drug discovery time tremendously, and then which actually helped the drug to be released at a faster pace. Internet of Things, another interesting use case. It's Internet of Things is nothing but everything around us. Imagine that everything around us is connected with internet, and it is sending some data or information to networks or clouds, right? So imagine the monitor is sending information. Imagine the fan is sending information. Imagine the AC is sending information. So all in the future, right? We will see that all these devices are interconnected, and they can send information. And using that information, we can create much more better systems. Currently, these Internet of Things are used in manufacturing industries. We call it as preventive maintenance of shop floor. That means that a lot of these huge shop floors are connected with IoT devices. And these IoT devices are nothing but they are sensors. They are, for example, they are connected to a huge machine. They will have turbulence sensor. They will have viscosity sensors. They will have temperature sensors. All these sensors, what they will do is they'll sense the information of the machine, and they can transfer it to a central cloud. And based on the information of the machine, we can generate alerts. Imagine the temperature of one machine is going beyond a certain threshold limit. We can generate an alert in a real time saying that so and so machine's temperature is quite high. We have to replace the lubricant fluid, or we have to add some coolant, and things like that. So that can be done. Other interesting areas, we are seeing that we have Siri, we have Cortana, Alexa, and these are all systems which are within our palm right now. We are able to talk to them and it can interact with us. Creation of chatbots have become very easy in the era of generative AI. We do not require a lot of skill. If you have attended my first session, demo session, within few minutes, I was able to create a chatbot. So such kind of things are possible. The world is moving towards agentic AI, where we are trying to create these chatbots along with agents so that these chatbots not only just respond to human responses, but they can also do great tasks. For example, I asked Siri to book my appointment. I asked Siri saying that, Siri, can you find out any good movies which are in my vicinity? And I would like to book 3 tickets on Sunday afternoon, preferably from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock. This is my timing. So imagine I talk to Siri in this manner, and then Siri understands my requirements and then can figure out all those things like my likings, the preferable theaters which I would like to go, preferable, maybe seating arrangements, or maybe booking up of some snacks, and then also coming up with all the planning and then booking, right? So if it does that, so that's what we are going to see, and such kind of systems are going to come in the future. And last but not the least, I will say about the personalized medicine. Very, very important. Healthcare is completely being revolutionized by the use of AI. Personalized medicine is one such important proven area where we're looking at a lot of medical records. So we can generalize patient treatment strategies. We can identify drug effectiveness, efficacy of the drug, and all that stuff can happen. All this can happen because we can use a lot of AI techniques. One of such techniques which will be used is a clustering technique, and the clustering technique can identify different patterns in patients, and based on the patient patterns, it can determine which type of drug to be used and which type of medicine will suit a specific type of patients. And it can be very, very personalized to their lifestyle, to their physical habits, maybe to their physical body conditions and all that stuff, and it can give those proper recommendations, right? So this is what we have understood. So we have looked at a lot of applications. I've spoken about uh, depth and breadth of applications, right from social media analytics to banks to insurance companies, to retail companies, to media companies, to healthcare. So if you touch any application area, we are seeing that AI is going to change the world. Yesterday itself, I was talking to one of my friend. He works in Oracle. So he is like in Oracle apps, right? So we have a lot of these ERP systems. And believe me or not, their ERP systems, they are trying to completely have AI embedded in it, right? So uh, previously these systems are like very, very very, very different, right? People need to have the technological understanding, need to have functional understanding. But now when the AI is coming into it, nothing is being left, right? It is QA, it's being touched. Mainframe systems, we have touch in AI. Oracle system, database systems, any system we touch, we do have the AI involvement there. So that gives two things, right? It gives opportunity and it also gives us fear. And what I am very positive is that we need to tap on this opportunity. And that's where, I appreciate you guys spending 1 full hour time with me and patiently listening to whatever I was saying. This is very important. We are in a very right junction that At one side, we have a great opportunity that whatever technological area we are in, whatever experience we have a great opportunity to change the spectrum and take that next big leap. And one other side where we have probably some kind of doubt or some kind of a fear that this is going to change the world, it is going to take away my jobs and so on. I can guarantee and say that no jobs will be replaced. Jobs will be recreated, and we should be at the edge of that recreation. We should be in the front line of the recreation. All right. So with that positive note, I'll have a stop at this session. If you have any questions, do let me know. We will discuss for another 10 minutes, and then if you don't have any questions, I'll give the 10 minutes back to you. Any questions? No questions?
Yeah. Can I know, like, are you doing job or?
Yeah. I work. Okay. I can't tell where I work. It's getting recorded. So let me put my profile here in the chat. So you can click on that profile. My name is
Oh,
Sitaram. You can click on the
okay.
profile, you'll get my LinkedIn, so you know where I work. And of course, you can follow me on LinkedIn. That's no harm. So, but certainly you will get an understanding of what do I do.
Okay, got it.
So there's a question that if you can provide the previous Zoom classes. Yes, I think reach out to the organizers. I think they will be able to help you get the recording, right? So they might create you they will have your email IDs. I do not have any email IDs, so the organizers will send you all the recordings. So the previous recording is also done, so you can get this one and the previous one as well. All right. Any other questions?
Oh, nothing right now.
All right, then. Thank you very much. So what we'll do is we'll do few more demos. Okay, we are going to do few more such demos, and so that you get familiarized with what is the subject. In the next session, probably I'll talk about how the course structure is designed. What are we going to cover in this course? So we will spend some good amount of time on that to understand what are the latest and the greatest things which we'll be covering in that, so that you get an understanding of what we are going to discuss. And then we'll finalize the timing also. Most probably this is the time, 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock is what we are going to do. So I'm in India, so my time 8 o'clock in the evening, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. So that's the current timeline which is available with me. So the batch will probably start from next week onwards. Okay.
Okay.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, guys, and have a nice day. And I'll talk to you back again. So take care.
Thank you.